We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been getting bigger.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your week daily morning show where we bring you the latest and everything in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the sideways action that Bitcoin has been undergoing right now. We're going to talk about how that action is likely to help Bitcoin lead into a larger rally moving into the next several months. But first, are we going to see a large correction of nearly $3,000 down towards critical support? We're going to be discussing all of that and more in today's episode of Coffee and Crypto, and I cannot wait to jump into it because today is a very exciting week. I've got a very exciting announcement that I'm going to get into a little bit later on in the stream, so stay tuned for that. There's a couple of launches that we're going to be doing this week, and I'm very, very excited for them. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I am currently sick. I came down with a cold on Friday, got worse on Friday, and then we went to the gym on Saturday, and I injured my back, I think. I think I actually may have hurt myself. So I am a little bit messed up in two ways right now. Like I said, I've got a cold, and also my back is not hurting right now, but I think I may have accidentally messed up one of my discs on leg press. So I'm going to be taking it a little bit easy, but I am still very excited for this week because we've got a lot to share with you today. Forgive me if I have to clear my throat a couple of times. We are here, and I love my job. I love what I do, and I'm so excited to bring you today's episode of Coffee and Crypto. So let's go ahead and shout out some names. Daniel J is in chat, said morning. Paul Torelli is in chat, said good morning. Crypto Military Vet in chat. Philly Skills 1428 said morning, Jeb. What's good? God. We've got Moonshine in chat. Dutch XRP Crypto Military Vet. Chicagoan in chat. Good morning from Chicago, Jeb. I was just about to say, you must be from Chicago, I'm assuming. I've only ever been to Chicago one time, and that was for a layover at Chicago O'Hare. Pete Billieu said, right now. RC Moore is in chat. Morning, when XRP pump. We may very well talk about that before long. Mike Lowry's in chat, said, good morning. Hashtag FinSov Monday. Love to see it. I believe the Bitcoin ETF will be rolled out in October. There's a long list of asset managers waiting for approval in the month. ETH will follow. Interesting. Carl Burton said, Jeb, could you please do a video on Arweave, please? Maybe. I typically don't do videos on smaller cap altcoins, but I'm not opposed to looking into it. Fox P2 said, where the heck is everyone? I don't know. Maybe we should hit the like button and then they'll all join in. Phaedrus is in chat, said, good morning, Jeb. Good to see you. James Queck is in chat, said, evening from Singapore. Good evening, Singapore. All right. When you catch a cold, lower back pain is a symptom, brother. Probably that. It's possible, but at the same time, I've had a little bit of pain in my back for a little over a year. When I started going to the gym, I was not using the best form on deadlift. And when I was doing, 225 on deadlift and 245, 265 on deadlift, I would feel a little bit of lower back pain. So I think I may have had something kind of progressive and gradual. It's one of the reasons that I'm so much of a stickler on form about finance. And one of the reasons I'm so much of a stickler on form at the gym. I normally have extremely good form. I don't mean to brag, but I think I have very, very, very good form on bench, squat, and deadlift, the three biggest exercises nowadays. But I kind of just jerked a little bit on leg press. I was just warming up. I was at 260, and I kind of pushed a little bit aggressively instead of, kind of moving into it. I kind of pushed a little bit, and I immediately felt that sharp pain. I let go, and then I just kind of got off, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna be done for right now. And then yesterday, I kind of just fell over because it hurt a lot. And so, it's one of those things where even though we have, maybe right now we're working with good form, we make one mistake, one rep that didn't go right, you can end up really messing yourself up. That's something my dad taught me when I was a very young kid, is that, some mistakes you only get to make once, and then you have to live with the consequences. If you don't look both ways before you cross the street and you get hit by a car, you'd be paralyzed, right? You say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, you go to prison. You have to be very, very careful in life because you make one mistake and you could end up absolutely ruining some part of your life. One rep. I use very good form nowadays. One rep I did not do right, and my back is hurting. And so that's why we teach what we teach here in cryptocurrency and here in our financial sovereignty content, and also in what we do just on the channel in general is to use very good form in your life. In the gym, I met this guy named Jeff, and he was in his probably early 60s. think he was born in 63, something like that. He's about 60 years old. This dude is giant. He's my height. He's a half an inch taller than me. We met him at the gym a week and a half ago. And I'll say this and we'll jump into crypto. Met him in the gym. He was a week and a half ago. He's huge. The guy was sitting there bench pressing. For any of you guys that are in the gym, you'll know what I'm talking about. Bench pressing 315 for like 9. And he's 60. He said, yeah, my max is 475. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. It's been his max for 20 years. And he would not stop talking. Form. The only way that you're ever going to achieve those kind of results is by maintaining extremely good form. And the lesson for us in cryptocurrency and in financial sovereignty here today is that whenever you are doing anything, especially the heavier the weight goes, the more money you're working with, the heavier weight of the gym you're working with, the more people you're working with, the more people you're in front of, form is so incredibly important. Get your form right. Get the quality right. And then work on the quantity. In the gym, get the quality right. Get that form perfect in your personal finances. Shore that up. Don't let a penny leave your personal finances without knowing exactly where it's going, without telling it to go there, without having a budget that it's coming out of and a plan to replenish that penny so you're not living above your means. In cryptocurrency, make sure you have an airtight plan for the trades and the investments that you're going to make. And then if you have to adjust them on the fly, then go ahead and adjust them. But get that form right and then increase the quantity. That's the lesson for for the beginning of today's stream that you can derive from my back. All right. Let's go ahead and jump straight on over to CoinMarketCap. As I said, really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you want to support the stream, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Right now, Bitcoin is trading at $29,000. It's up 0.12% over the last 24 hours, down 1% over the last 7 days. And it is up 5% over the last 90 days. Bitcoin has been moving pretty aggressively here. Over the last little bit, sideways. It's been moving aggressively sideways. And so that's what we're kind of going to talk about today in today's episode of Coffee and Crypto Live. Let's go ahead and jump on over to the chart. As you can see, Bitcoin has been moving sideways here ever since about the 24th of July. Normally when Bitcoin is trading sideways in a fashion like this, it is for a very good reason. And in this case, I think what Bitcoin is doing is it is consolidating sideways. One of the lessons that I like to teach people is that whenever the market is moving sideways, that is actually a form of a correction because there are two ways that a market can correct. Either one, it can go down, or two, it can go sideways. It can go to the right. And if the market is moving to the right, as we have seen that Bitcoin has done relatively recently here, then you're going to be able to tell that is consolidating after something. What is it consolidating from? Well, Bitcoin obviously went through a major rally when BlackRock announced that they were going to be launching a Bitcoin ETF. By the way, if you don't know how significant that is, let me just give you some numbers. Fidelity Investment, which is one of the largest asset managers on the planet, has $9.5 trillion in assets under management and 42 million customers. A Bitcoin ETF would bring Bitcoin adoption to every single one of them. Vanguard have 30 million customers. 30 million customers, somewhere over $8 trillion in assets under management. BlackRock themselves, $10.5 trillion in assets under management. A Bitcoin ETF would bring Bitcoin exposure to all of those customers in an even larger capacity than they already have. There are certain ways that you can invest on those platforms with in Bitcoin, but it's going to make it far easier and far more available to retail when that comes online. And I do think a Bitcoin ETF will be coming online at some point. But the reason I bring it up is because Bitcoin went through this huge rally when that news of BlackRock attempting to get approval for a Bitcoin ETF came out. And of course, that hasn't happened yet, but Bitcoin naturally needed to go through some kind of correction. Bitcoin rallied, if you'll remember, $6,500 in 9 days. Remember what I almost said Stan Lee. Oh my goodness, you can tell my brain's a little bit on fog mode right now because of the cold. Remember what Thomas Lee from Fundstrat, you can see where the confusion came from. If you'll remember what Thomas Lee from Fundstrat said, if you take out the 10 most profitable days, the 10 biggest green days from every year in the history of Bitcoin, almost every single year is actually a red year, which means that Bitcoin would be trading at negative dollars. That's obviously not the case, because Bitcoin does have those 10 biggest gainers. What we tend to see in Bitcoin markets, especially in the beginning stage of bull markets, are you see very short, aggressive rallies, and everybody gets interested for a week, and then Bitcoin trades sideways or corrects for a few months. We saw the same thing happen here. Massive rally, long-term correction. That's what we're going through right now, and this correction on Bitcoin may drop as far as another $3,000 down to $25,236. Now, if you'll remember our process that we go through for analyzing cryptocurrency markets, you'll know that it's actually relatively simple. We go through the 3 Ps: perceive, predict, and plan. We try and understand what the market is doing. Then we make a prediction about where the market will go. And then we make a plan to capitalize on those movements. The most important part of that is the the planning stage, because the plan is what we are going to use to actually make profit in the market. So, really appreciate all of you tuning in. All right, so with Bitcoin trading sideways here, let's go ahead and perceive what's happening in the market. Well, first and foremost, we've already covered some of the beginning stages of that perception. What we can see is that Bitcoin has gone through a major rally. It is currently in that correction phase, and now we need to kind of ascertain, all right, how far is Bitcoin going to correct? Let's get some recent historical information. On Bitcoin, if Bitcoin rallied $9,000, and then it ended up correcting $5,500 in 17 days, we know that this was more of a price action correction than a time correction. Most of the correction happened in the form of price action. Over here, in March and April of 2023, we rallied at $11,000 in 30 days, and we ended up correcting about 63 days. So what we can gather from this is that large corrections are necessary after these large movements on Bitcoin, but they can take one of two forms. Either one, they can take the form of an aggressive price drop, as we saw in late February, or two, they can kind of drag themselves out at a lower angle, but it's going to take longer. You have this kind of angle right here, you have this kind of angle right here. So far, the angle for Bitcoin's correction is much more mirroring this second correction. And if we just take a look at this, we can see that for an $11,000 rally, Bitcoin corrected $6,000 over 60 days. Now, this rally over here was about 60% as large. It was $6,600. That's obviously about 60% of $11,000. So we would expect probably a 75% sized rally correction to what we saw following the previous rally in March of 2023. So from this peak, we would probably expect to correct for about 45 days and maybe, give or take, about $4,500 to $5,000. If we did that, then we would be looking to bottom out somewhere around late August, around $27,000, or we could bottom out even sooner at $25,236. And another solution to this problem is that Bitcoin could bottom out on VRVP support somewhere, for example, such as here, around $27,000. That was a local floor that we set previously. We could also come up with some other kind of level, but in general, to me, it is looking like Bitcoin is either going to bottom out somewhere on this uptrending level of support to as far down as $25,236. I'd be surprised if we fell lower than that. That would, of course, be a major movement in the direction of Bitcoin having that'd be a much longer term correction that I think would set up for a larger rally, but probably would not be the best thing for Bitcoin in the short term. So let's go ahead and look at the 4-hourly chart and just get an idea of where Bitcoin has been over the weekend. Over the weekend, Bitcoin, actually we'll look at the hourly chart. Over the weekend, Bitcoin has done a lot of nothing. It has traded sideways right around $29,000. And in fact, if we put our level at exactly $29,000, you can see that that is almost the exact level of support that Bitcoin has tested over and over and over again. If we drag this to the downside a little bit, you can see the true level of support that Bitcoin has been testing has been 28,960. We just go ahead and draw 28,960 here. You can see Bitcoin has come down and tested this level multiple times. This is going to be an important floor for when we get to our planning stage. We can also see that there has been a trend line right here that Bitcoin has been respecting on the hourly chart as well. That's been pushing Bitcoin down into that uptrending, down into that flat level of support at 28,960. With that in mind, and with the fact in mind that we also have a bearish MACD cross that's coming on the hourly chart, RSI is sitting down here below 50. If we look out to the longer term timeframes, we can also see that there is quite a lot of sideways action going on, but even bearishness on the 4-hourly chart MACD. If we look at the fact that Lux Algo is still saying that we're under a confirmed sell signal, and we've been under a confirmed sell signal for quite some time on the 4-hourly chart, on the 1-hourly chart, and even, to be honest with you, we're kind of getting close to that on the daily chart, then we start to realize, a sell signal that's not confirmed, but a sell signal on the 8-hour chart, it leads us to this conclusion that, okay, Bitcoin is obviously in a quite bearish situation right now. We should be betting on the bears at this very moment because the longer term trend is bearish. So we should be betting on the bears in the first place because, remember, one of our principles of trading and technical analysis is that the trend is our friend until it ends. So far, the bearish trend has not ended, so we should still be in allegiance with the bears until the bulls prove themselves victorious. And they have not done that yet. And in fact, there's reasons to believe the bears are going to take one more push to the downside. So this week, my prediction will be, based on our perception, a 60% movement to the downside, 60% chance of a movement to the downside, 40% chance of a movement to the upside. And by a movement, I mean at least $500. I think that that'll probably happen by week's end. There is obviously, of course, a chance that I'm not including in those percentages that Bitcoin moves sideways and it doesn't really do much this week. That is absolutely a possibility. Friday is actually not that far away on this chart. Friday is right here It is totally possible that Bitcoin just moves sideways this week, and does nothing. Absolutely possible. And by the way, that's not a bad thing, because Bitcoin trading sideways at $29,000 just does even more to prove that Bitcoin is indeed worth $564 billion. Don't forget, it's a $500 billion market. That's a big deal. And so if we're trading sideways at a $500 billion market capitalization, that's not a bad thing, because that is just building more and more market structure to prove to us that Bitcoin actually does have a fighting chance. It actually does have a reason to be trading up here in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, because it can hold 30K like it's nothing. So if Bitcoin trades sideways here, it's not something to fret about. But for this week, it could mean that things could be a little bit boring. All right. Now, the predictions. Let's talk about predictions. Let's talk about plans. We've given you the prediction. I give it a 60% likelihood that the next major movement that Bitcoin makes, and it might not be this week, but the next major movement that Bitcoin makes will be to the downside. What will that look like? Well, to do that, we still have to look at our levels. So let's find those levels. The levels below us that I think are important are the level that we're currently sitting above, which is 28,960. That's the level that we initially tested as support when we fell down here on Monday, July 24th. It is also the level that we've tested about 6 times over the last couple of weeks. We fell down here on August the 2nd. We fell down here on August the 2nd, August the 3rd. We fell down here on August the 4th. We also fell down here on August the 5th and the 6th. And we've fallen down there on the 6th and this morning on the 7th. All of this to say that is very clearly the level of support that is below us. I think 28,960, at least on the Coinbase chart, is one of the most important levels to look at. By the way, just a side note, Coinbase did just recently release its earnings, and they were above average. They were above expectation on a few different things. So if you're an investor in coin, keep that in mind. I would definitely go check out that earnings call. All right, now floors below us. The next one, of course, is at 28,545. 28,545 has been a historically important level of support. This one goes back years. 28,545 has been relevant ever since July of 2021. It's been relevant ever since all the way back here. 28,545 is the level on most charts that we see the bottom, that Bitcoin set a bottom here on the 22nd of June. 2021. Now you can draw it a couple $100 higher, however you want to draw it. I've called it 28,545 because that's where it shows up on most charts. On Coinbase, it happens to show up a couple of $100 higher than that. But regardless, remember, one of our principles of technical analysis is that every level is actually a range. So just remember, not a range, it's a zone. So just remember, 28,545 is not a perfect exact level. But the thing to keep in mind is that this is the exact level that we bottomed out here on August the 1st, at least on the Coinbase chart. Now, the other levels that we're going to want to pay attention to are this one right here, 28,736. And part of the reason that that's important is also because if we go back here to June 22nd on the daily chart, that's actually the level that the market went down to. That's actually much more akin to the level that the market went down to, 28,787 back in 2021. Now, I think that the more recent price action is more important. And so I'm drawing it there based not on what happened in 2021, but based on this bottom that we set right here at 28,744. That is almost the exact same level that we set back there 2 years ago. So those are our two floors that I'm going to look at, and those are the two floors that we're going to set up trades around. Remember, we want to set up plans based on what we've seen happen on the market. If we have a level of support here at 28,960, then we could enter into a short position, again, following our principles of technical analysis and trading, just below 28,960. And then we could have an exit like this. This is a trade that we could set up and extrapolate pretty far out into the future, so long as these levels don't change, and just keep this in play for a while. Then we could set up another short trade right here, where we have stop loss, entry, exit. I'm not giving you the exact numbers because I don't want you going out there and trading these exact numbers. I want you to take the principles. I want you to do it yourself because I want to have this spirit of an educator, not just somebody who's going to give you free stuff. It's not going to help you at all. You know, that's one of the things that people talk about with things like the CBI and different policies where you just give people free things and you expect that the entitlements are going to end up giving them something. I'm not trying to just give you something. I want to give you a lesson, and then you get the joy and the fulfillment of going and applying that lesson. It takes grit, it takes discipline, it takes work ethic, and those are all things that will lead to fulfillment in you. So I don't just want to give you free trades. My dream is not to give you free trades, it's to show you how I would set up these trades, and then you can use those principles and say, I'm not going to use that level of support. I think there's a different one that's more accurate, more relevant. No, I'm going to use a different short entry. I'm going to move the dollars around, but I want to give you a baseline to start with so that when you're doing your trading, you can go through the perception, the prediction, the planning phase, and you can set up plans that may become profitable trades. Now, just remember a couple of our principles of technical of trading that are important. I typically like to use one of two trailing stop losses, but always a trailing stop loss. Either one, you can use 10% of whatever the expected profit is. So, for example, here, this short trade is a 0.64% expected profit between the entry and the target. You could use either a 0.1% trailing stop loss, or you could use 10% of that number, which would be 0.06% trailing, 0.064% trailing stop loss. Either way, use that at your own discretion, but I would recommend using a trailing stop loss because there are plenty of times where your entry will be correct, but you won't make it to the target, and then you do want to be able to lock in some gains. Use that trailing stop loss. Get stopped out a little early sometimes, but reduce the risk dramatically, and then you can basically turn these markets into a money printer. You just have to know how to utilize the trade correctly. Now, if you look at our short positions here, it almost looks like we've got one short position. There's actually two here. There's an exit, and then there's a re-entry. The reason that we do that is because we want to shield ourselves from from not exiting on something like this. We want to shield ourselves from not exiting around a bottom, because this is the level of support. One of our principles of trading is that we want to not be in a trade around a major level of support because the market is likely to bounce around that level of support. So don't be in the trade around that level of support. Hopefully that makes sense. So these are the two levels that I would look at on Coinbase anyway, 28,758 and 28,545. Then, of course, if Bitcoin starts to drop lower, then let's set up just kind of a longer term, a little bit more kind of out there level of entry. I'm going to set up this entry like this. I'm going to put the target down to a center level of around $27,000. This is kind of just a speculative plan. This is just here just in case. Just in case Bitcoin flash crashes below this uptrending level of support, I want to be prepared for even those worst case scenarios. Target, I'm going to put at 27,100. Again, please don't just use the exact levels. I'm going to put a target at 27,100. I'm going to put my entry. I can't do it on TradingView. It won't let me, but I can set up a plan anyway. An entry right below that uptrending level of support. You would need to have an alert that you update probably daily to tell you when you've entered into that level. For right now, it would be right here. And then you would just move it and update it. As you can see like this, you just move it and update it. You see? Then you update the trailing stop loss. But for right now, because that's where we are, it'd be like this. But we would move that up along with the trend line so that if Bitcoin does fall through here, we have a plan for how to trade this. And again, remember, even if you don't make it to the target, that's why you use the trailing stop loss. This is a 3.64% drop, 3.63% drop. If you drop 3.63% and then you have a 0.1% trailing stop loss, definitely would recommend having that bigger stop loss. In this case, probably honestly the 10%, so a 0.36% trailing stop loss. It gets bigger as you go. It's all ratios. Then, if you end up not making it all the way down to 27,000, then you at least get a little bit of profit. So that's kind of the short trade that I would use there. Now, we can set up a long trade. I don't have that much interest in a long trade right now, to be honest with you, because I'm not really all that confident Bitcoin's going to do it. But I'm going to set up a pretty tight long trade as part of our plan. It's going to be based on this downtrending level of support. So again, we're going to continually update this plan probably on a daily basis with an entry just hovering $50 or so above this downtrending level of support. Right now, that would put the entry around 29.2. As time goes on, of course, that gets lower because it's based on trend line. TradingView, I wish had the functionality to set something up like that. It doesn't, at least to my knowledge. So we're not going to do that for right now. But the next major level of resistance that we see on Bitcoin's chart right now, they're pretty close, are these two right here. We have a level of resistance here at 29,280. So this trade gets much better as time goes on because you have more room to go. It's about a 3.57% X risk to reward ratio. Not phenomenal, but as time goes on, excuse me, we actually want to start right here. As time goes on, it gets a little bit better. Let's just go ahead and adjust this. This is where we are right now. It's a 5x risk to reward ratio. Again, using that trailing stop loss. You're looking at a 0.4% profit. So you probably want to use that much tighter stop loss. Just make sure you're not missing out. And from there, then you could also set up another long position right here. I want to declassify the difficulties on trading because it's been made out to be something that's super hard, and it doesn't have to be. There you go. Then use your exit right there below the next level of resistance. Those are your two trades. excuse me, I just accidentally messed something up here with this. Let's fix that right there. Bring this back over here and pull that up there. All right, so those are two kind of example trades. Please, again, don't just take them, just don't take them and copy them. Instead, look at the principles and learn what I'm doing so that you're able to apply it yourself. Again, some of those principles are as follows. Basically, we're going to look for our floors and our ceilings. What are the 3 or 4 major important levels above us? What are the 3 or 4 levels below us that are very significant? We're going to talk about all of those. From there, we're going to set up our entries just above the floors, just below the floors for our short positions, just above the ceilings for our long positions, and then our exits just below the next ceiling above that for our long positions, and just above the next floor below us for our short positions. After you do that, then you're going to have some trade setups. I normally go for 3 on either side, just so you have a plan for catching everything when you go up or down. Really appreciate all of you tuning in. Hopefully that has been helpful. Let's go ahead and look at CoinMarketCap for just a second and take a look over here at XRP. XRP is currently sitting at 61 cents. It's gone through a bit of a correction, and I think part of that is because XRP has XRP was so hyped right there after the case was settled that it went through this massive rally, but now it's going to go through a correction. At this point, when XRP starts to bottom, might not be a bad time to enter into, and that's why I mention it right now. It's down 20% from where it, 23% from where it rallied to post SEC case settlement decision. And so I think that from here, XRP has a wonderful opportunity to be able to go through quite a large rally, and I don't think it's a bad investment at all. Again, all cryptocurrencies are more risky than the majority of investments, just because they're so young and their use cases are so they're so novel, and they don't have a 150-year track record, right? But, or even a 30 or 40-year track record. But I do believe there's a lot of value in this industry, and I think if you're not investing in the cryptocurrency space, you're definitely missing out. And I think there is definitely a lot of value that you can find in things like XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. I think those are the 3 best ones right now out there for the larger cap cryptocurrencies. Brave Crypto says, smash the like. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. All right. I'm going to read some chat here. All right. Let's read some chat. Good morning, Jeb. Hope you don't have any issues on your back, because your back is very important. It is. It is very important. And I've been trying to be very, very careful with it. Like I said, I know how to use proper form and solidify my core and everything now, but about 2.5 years ago, I seemingly did not have the best form, and I think I may have given myself a slight little injury back there. I know how to prepare myself and do everything right now, but that's one of those things. When we talk about getting out of debt, this is a good point. We talk about getting out of debt. It's not just about getting rid of financial debt. It's also about getting rid of the things in your life that are holding you back. There's like my back pain. That's a debt from me not using good form 2 years ago, right? It's not an injury that I did something 100 times to cause in the last month. I did 1 rep without fully tightening my core properly. 1 rep. That should not have been enough to injure me. That's an exacerbation of something that had already occurred on my back. And so now I'm in debt to that, because I need to fix and get out of debt from something that I did a couple of years ago, right? That's not a financial debt, but it is still a debt. And so it's something that we have to really work hard towards, to getting out of debt from things that you did in the past. It's not just about what did you spend on your credit card in the past. It's also about what relationships did you destroy in the past that you need to repent for something and you need to apologize for. What is it? What kind of debt in the past have you done something with your health? I don't have any history with drugs, but if you've been on drugs, then you've got to get out of the debt from that. If there's something going on with your health right now that can be treated because you were on drugs, that no condemnation here. Look, I understand people have their vices, but then how do you get out of that? Whatever it is that you've done in your past, or that has happened to you in your past that you're still in debt to, you need to help with. You need to figure out what you can do about that. There's an individual that I know, and he was talking about how he had run-ins with drug dealers and people that are dangerous. I mean, people that'll kill people, they're like very, very scary people. And he's got kids, right? And so he's trying to figure out, how do I get that life behind me? He's got debt, right? These vendettas that people have against him. He's trying to get rid of those because he doesn't want that impacting his life. And so it's very important that we get rid of that debt, right? It's not just financial debt. We've also got to get rid of relational debt, sin debt, whatever it may be. All right. The fear and greed index went from 50 to 49. Yeah, I know. Things are really moving quick right now, aren't they? Now, Bitcoin's trading sideways, but that's the best time to work on your investing in yourself. Absolutely. You guys are always sick, Jeb. Investigated, sir. Have investigated it. Found out it's my son who's in preschool. He came home with a sniffle on Thursday, and then lo and behold, I had it the day later. We also have a 3-month-old daughter, and if you don't know anything, she'll be 4 months here in this week, actually. If you don't know anything about children, they get sick all the time. And if you live with your children, which hopefully you do, I don't know why I said that, then it's going to be difficult because you're going to catch something from them. He's got a much stronger immune system now than he did a year and a half ago when he started. So I don't get sick as much as I did, but he is also a vendetta. That's a very good point. Vendetta. That's not how you spell it, but that is kind of the idea. It's a vendetta. Who has a vendetta against you? That's lovely. Well, it's not lovely, but it's a good way of putting it, Daniel J. By the way, guys, I want to let you know the financial sovereignty content is up, and I'm very excited about it. If you guys have not seen this video yet, I really want you to go and watch it because I think you're going to be...
Here's what I've noticed.
Excuse me, sorry. I think you guys are going to be greatly blessed from it. This video over here is called 14 Truths Millionaires Master. This is a video that I think you guys will be so blessed for seeing. We've got some comments here. Northwest Crypto said, amazing stuff, Jeb. Really needed this video today. Investor in IO said, nice setup, good info. Buff Dan 1 to Beast 1 said, golden nuggets in these videos. I like it. There we go. Keep on preaching, brother. Good deal. I'm really excited about that video. It went up on Friday. It is part of our financial sovereignty series where I'm teaching you guys how to be in control over your finances rather than having your finances control you. That is now in a playlist, so you can go and watch all of those videos all at once and share it with people. That playlist is up on the channel, and I will show it to you really quickly. Just go ahead and show you over here on the YouTube channel. That video, that playlist is up right here. You can see the playlist right here, Financial Sovereignty. All right, very important content over there that I definitely don't want you guys to miss out on. All right, let's go ahead and keep talking here. Let's just go ahead and read chat for just a second. I believe that you will be blessed by that content. So the reason that I talk about financial sovereignty, let me just say this and then we'll move on here. The reason that we talk about financial sovereignty is because being in control of your finances, I firmly believe, is the most important core value that you can adopt to build wealth in your life. Full stop. Being in control over your life rather than your life controlling you, I believe, is the single most important core value that you can take on to build wealth in the long term. And so if you watch that video, there are 14 truths that millionaires master, and they just so happen to be the 14 core values of our company. I explain all 14 of them and how they all work in harmony to build wealth for our company, for you, for whoever it is that applies them. And they all go right back to financial sovereignty. Financial sovereignty is the idea of controlling your finances God's way, doing it in a way that is integral and generous, and you're able to give back to other people, and you're doing it for the right reason. And so when you build financial sovereignty in your life, you will gain control over your finances. You will gain control over your time. You will gain control over your possessions. Those are the three biggest things that you'll gain control over. But you will also be in control enough to maintain healthy relationships. You will also be in control enough to maintain healthy financial habits. You will also be in control enough to pay off debt and invest and grow your wealth into the future. You'll also watch in that video how if you invest less than $1,000 a month, in 20 years, you could be worth over $2 million. So make sure you go and watch that video because I'm pretty sure 90% of you guys can find a way to make $920 a month and do exactly what I say in that video. Fast forward 20 years and you will be worth, not $2 million, about $1 million. And in 40 years, you would be worth about $5 to $10 million. You can build a 7 to 8 figure net worth on an average American salary if you do it the right way, especially if you're able to increase that income a little bit through side hustles or some kind of entrepreneurial endeavor. And I do believe that you can make a massive difference in your life. And I do believe that what we're teaching has the ability to radically change your life. And that is why I'm so very excited to announce the launch of a new product. And this is what I've been talking about for the last couple of months. We've been working on this for a very long time. We've got a lot of work that we're putting into this, and I cannot wait to see this continue to grow. And this is something that we're going to be investing in and growing over the course of years. And what we're here today to talk about is financial coaching. You've heard me kind of mention it here and there. I mentioned it in a comment or two. I mentioned it in one video. I don't know if you saw that in the first Financial Fence-Off Fridays video. I mentioned it. But this is actually something that I'm already doing. I've already got people I'm working with just kind of behind the scenes. But I want to go ahead and launch this on the channel so that you guys knew that I was doing this. If you don't know what financial coaching is, essentially financial coaching is me coming alongside you and working with you on a one-on-one private individual basis where I'll be helping you with your finances and help you guys set up a strategic plan for your life to get your finances under control. And that is why I have launched financial coaching in Club DeFi. As you can see, it is live over at bitcoinacademy.teachable.com. Come to Club DeFi, scroll down, you'll see financial coaching, and you'll also see our courses. More to come. But there are two different ways that you can do financial coaching right now. First and foremost, you can just do a 1-hour session. I've done some of these. It's for $150. I charge $150 an hour. I'll tell you in a minute why that sounds like a lot, but it's really not. But there's also a 3-month package where we'll be doing 6 hours. That'll be broken up in the way that I see that you and I agree on. But there's also one session free in there. So normally that would be $900 instead of $750. And through that coaching, I'm going to help you with multiple things. First and foremost, I'm going to personally help you get rid of your debt. I'm also personally going to help you with your budgeting. I'm also going to personally help you set up a strategic plan for your finances so you know where every single dollar comes from and where every single dollar goes so that you can do the kind of thing that I just talked about. Finding money to pay off debt and invest in your future so that you can build wealth. Again, I firmly believe that every single person in the United States living on an average American income, $70,000 before taxes, $55,000 after taxes, if you make that kind of money, you can build a 7-figure net worth, that being $1 million net worth within the next 15 years. Honestly, if you really put your mind to it, you can have all your debt paid off and you can be well on your way to $1 million net worth within 10 years, just about no matter where you're starting, unless you've got like a $750,000 of debt or something. And it all comes back to financial education. It all comes back to implementing financial sovereignty in your life. Again, this is me doing one-on-one coaching with you in a Zoom call for an hour-long session if you choose that one session. And if you like what you see, if you want to continue working with me, then you can continue working with me through that 3-month program. And through that program, I will be learning more about how to coach you guys financially. Again, there's already people I'm working with behind the scenes so that I can continue to grow my craft and teach you guys things. One of them is a friend of mine who's a real estate agent, and we had our first call, and he thought it was amazing. He showed me his debt. He showed me his income. He showed me this. I set up a plan for him to be able to get rid of that debt. I'm beginning to help him set up that plan to get rid of the debt that he has, increase his income, pay himself a steady salary, get a plan for his budgeting, and then grow his wealth so that he can meet his financial goals. I won't say what they are. I want to be very vague because I don't want to, put any personal information out there. But he walked away extremely excited and on the right track and said that I was going to be able to be part of his team to help him build his financial future, because he's not married yet and he wants to be, and he wants to be able to go on trips with his family. He laid out his goals for me. I said, look, these are the dreams you told me. I have the sheet of paper right over there where I took my notes. These are the dreams, these are the goals you have for me. I firmly believe that you can meet those dreams and goals. We just got to get this money on rails. We got to get the plan for this. And then also, as we continue through that process with him, I'm also going to be able to help him figure out how much money do I invest? Where do I invest that money? That's where my expertise in cryptocurrency comes in, and working in the stock market. I can say, look, I can help you figure out how to grow this wealth in these areas as well. And so I'm going to be able to help him personally grow his wealth. And so when I say that it's $150 an hour, you might think, oh man, that's a lot of money. But let me just explain to you why that's not a lot of money. The person I'm working with has tens of thousands of dollars worth of debt. If you have let's say $50,000 worth of debt times, let's be conservative, a 5% interest rate, then on the debt, not just the principal, on the debt, you are spending $2,500 a year on the interest on that debt. Divide by 12, that is $208 a month on that interest. Now, there's also other things that I've done in my life. I've seen the different people I'm working with do, where you're spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on things that you don't need to be doing. When we started on our journey of financial sovereignty several years ago, and now it's kind of grown into this thing where we've really got our life in order with our finances. And I want to share with you guys, because Bible says, get the log out of your eye. We've been working very hard to get the log out of our eye, and the log's out of our eye. There's some things we need to clear up, but we're in a good path on we're in the financial sovereignty game. Now, we realized when I was single, before I met my wife, this is a funny story. It's not very funny. It's actually really sad. I was spending $800 a month on takeout. This is like 2, 3, 4 years ago, right? $800 a month on takeout. Let me just say it again, $800 a month on takeout. I have it up on this wall over here because it was from the video that we uploaded, 14 Truths Millionaires Master. $540 a month at a 10% return which is the amount of money it takes to max out a Roth IRA every single year at $6,500 a year. At year 5, you'll have $41,866. I'm looking on the wall over here because it's up in that video. You can see it in the video. In 10 years, you'll have $110,000. 15 years, you'll have $224,000. 20 years, you'll have $412,000. 25 years, $721,000. 30, $1.231 million. 35 years, $2 million. 40 years, $3.4 million. 45 years, which is the age that I would retire at 67 if I chose to retire. I probably never will. But in 45 years, $540 a month, invested at 10% return. By the way, the S&P 500 has returned a 10.02% return over the last 30 years, averaged out annually. 45 years would be $5.742 million. If I invested $540 a month out of the 800, and as a single guy, lived on the $260 left over. By the way, if you're single, you can totally live on $260 a month for food. That's what I could have been doing with that money. Instead, I was eating it, right? We don't do that now. We have a very tight budget on stuff like that. If we're eating, it's out of a grocery budget. There's a difference between grocery, just a quick snippet of this. There's a difference between groceries and eating out. Eating out is entertainment and is convenience. You're not paying for food. You're paying for somebody else to make the food for you and clean up after you. I believe that in your personal budget right now, there is enough room that you can build yourself easily $1 million net worth within the next 20 years, probably within the next 10 to 15 if you really take it seriously. And I want to work with you individually so that I can help you do that. And by doing that, you can be as vulnerable with me as you want about your finances. I would prefer if you were able to say, look, these are my debts. This is my income. This is what my financial picture looks like right now. And remember, you can find that over here on the website. If you haven't found it already, you can go to bitcoinacademy.teachable.com. Pretty soon we'll be updating that URL. It'll just be clubdefi.com. It'll be a lot easier to find. And I'll be able to work with you personally to grow that wealth. Because I do believe that it's not as simple as just saying, I believe it's not as simple as just saying, I'm going to pick this altcoin, I'm going to get rich. Listen, if your finances are absolutely a mess, if your finances are just absolutely all over the place, you're not going to be able to grow wealth. Remember what I said earlier about form. If your form's wrong, you make one bad movement, you can completely injure yourself. One misstep because your form's off, you completely injure yourself. I don't want you to do that with finance. I know so many people that have done they've taken one misstep because of lack of financial education, because of lack of good counsel. Proverbs 15:22 says, plans fail for lack of good counsel. One decision, taking out a second mortgage on a house to buy Dogecoin at the top. That's literally a story I've heard. One bad decision because you didn't have the right counsel can ruin your financial life. There are statistics that show that 49% of Americans making $100,000 a year are still living paycheck to paycheck. That's absurd. It's ridiculous. Unless you live in Manhattan, that is nuts. And so it is my dream to help you not live paycheck to paycheck, but to build true wealth. And we're going to do that through investing and trading in cryptocurrency. And we're going to do that through an understanding of financial sovereignty. And I want to help you with that. So if you're interested in working with me personally, you can check out bitcoinacademy.teachable.com. Again, you can just type Club DeFi into Google. It'll be the first result that comes up. And I will help you save tons of money. $150 is what we charge per hour because I think it's worth that. But that's not me taking from you. That's me making sure that this is something that I can do sustainably. It's also something that makes you take it seriously because of the cost. And my dream is not to be somebody that just takes your money from you and doesn't help you. It's my dream to charge something that makes this a profitable business where we're able to build financial sovereignty for ourselves and make sure that it's worth our time and be entrepreneurs about it and be good stewards and witnesses of it, but also be able to give to you something that will save you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars throughout your life. I have made mistakes that have cost me $10,000 in the moment, that in the future, had I not have made that mistake and spent $10,000 there, I could have invested, made a 16x return in 32 years. 32 years, 10%, you turn $10,000 into $160,000. Every dollar you waste today, 32 years from now, could have been 16. I want to help you save hundreds of thousands of dollars from bad decisions. A few $100 is nothing in the grand scheme of things to put you on a track that's going to help you save hundreds of thousands of dollars and build millions of dollars of wealth over the coming decades. I'm so excited about this, guys, because it's what we talk and think about all day long, is how to become sovereign over our life, how to get our time, money, and possessions in order. And for me, if I'm able to help you guys build real wealth and do it in a way that you're able to be radically generous with people, that is something I'm very excited about. And that's not to say that's not to say I'm going to stop talking about crypto. There's not this dichotomy of, oh, it's either financial sovereignty or it's crypto. No, they work together. Crypto is one avenue of investment to grow your net worth. To kind of wrap it out here, I'm just going to start a poll. How many of you, let's see, did you join crypto primarily to make a radical change in your financial life? Ask the community. We'll see what the poll says. I've run this poll before, and it's always about 80 to 90% of people say yes. But the fact of the matter is, if you join crypto, you are more than likely here because you wanted to make a radical change in your financial life. I'm here to tell you that crypto is a part of that, but it's not all of it. And I want to help you with all of it because I want to take you from financial bondage, which might be a complete wreck of a home, might be just broken relationships, might be tons and tons of debt that's weighing on your marriage. It could be crippling debt from a giant truck payment that you shouldn't have. It could be that you bought the wrong house and you've got a massive interest rate and you can't afford it. Whatever it is, I want to take you from financial bondage to financial sovereignty and do it in a way that will benefit you so you can be more generous in the future. Period. You want to hear the elevator pitch? Boom, there's the elevator pitch. I want to take you from financial bondage to financial sovereignty, being out of control of your finances and they have enslaved you, to being in control of your finances and you're able to use those finances to be radically generous. We've got 25 votes. Only one person has said no. Only one person out of the 25 people that have voted on that poll said they didn't join crypto to make a radical change in their financial life. Primarily, as in the first reason. That means of 26 votes, 25 of you said that's the reason you joined crypto. And so I want to help you with that. There's going to be more content coming out in the future on FinSoft Fridays here on the YouTube channel. There's also going to be more products launching in the future. We're looking at making a course. We're looking at expanding what we do with financial coaching. This is the launch, guys. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I've done some of this, but I've got room to grow also. So as you join me in financial coaching, I'm going to be learning along with you about how to best serve you. But what I do know is I have what it takes, and I know exactly what needs to happen to build a lifestyle that is financially sovereign so that you extrapolate that 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you are building radical wealth. And I also know some of the lies that have been told, such as buy this altcoin, get rich. It doesn't work that way. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. I want to set you up to really generate wealth in a way that is sustainable. That's a core value. And help you guys build wealth, build a name, build the ability to enjoy your life, build the ability to honor and serve God, and also build your ability to change your family name. And if I can help you with that, then that'll be a dream come true for me. 40 votes, 93% of you guys said the primary reason you joined crypto is to make a radical change in your financial life. I'm here to help you with that. So if you're interested, feel free to go on over to bitcoinacademy.teachable.com. Sign up for our 1-hour financial coaching session or for our 3-month program. That'll be 6 hours. Now, we can divide that in a way that seems to best fit you guys. I'm still working out exactly what that process would look like. Is it better to have a 30-minute intake call? Is it better to have a 1-hour intake call? We're going to work through all of that together. But look, guys, it is something that I do believe is going to benefit you very, very much. I think that you're going to be very much better off because you went through this. And by the way, in case you don't like it, and especially since I'm still learning exactly how to put everything together in a way that you guys will benefit from, we do offer a full 7-day money-back refund guarantee for students who complete their 60-minute session with me. So if you go through this, and it will probably not always be this way, but this is as I continue to get things going. Everyone I've worked with so far walked away remarkably happy. But if for some reason you go through that 60-minute call with me and you genuinely think, that wasn't worth my time, it wasn't worth the $150, within 7 days, so long as you complete the call, and I see that you're putting your best effort into it, which, I think you will, I will give you your money back. So there's no risk at all. No risk. Again, that will probably not be the case forever because I know I can bring value. But for right now, that's the case. All right. Really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. And I definitely hope to see some of you guys over there in financial coaching. That is going to wrap it out for today's episode of Coffee and Crypto. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Really appreciate your journey with me here on YouTube. And I also cannot wait to continue making content for you guys here on YouTube. Stay tuned because there's more content coming out. And I definitely look forward to seeing you guys over there in Club DeFi's financial coaching. I am going to go. But before I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.